Hello again. Welcome to another Voices of Gaia Oracle transmission. I will be channeling as Awen Tasia Greener to bring through today a message for the Voices of Gaia New Earth Leadership archetype of the Peacekeeper. So, the Peacekeeper. Oh, this is where it all started. This is the archetype that shows up when you are finally ready to create sacred space in your life. You're finally ready to claim that gift for yourself. And this particular archetype showed up for me before I even knew what the other archetypes would be. I couldn't even bring through my channel the other 7 archetypes for New Earth leadership as a voice of Gaia until I had been initiated by this archetype of the Peacekeeper. I had to be initiated to create sacred space for myself so that my channel could have a way to root here, you know. And I'm just being called to share a little bit about the channel because for me, and maybe it's different for others, but if you're called to my work, a lot of time, I should say the word that's been coming through me, through my channel, through my signal, there's always a lot of information, a lot of inspiration, a lot of ideas all up here, right? And they're talking to me all the time, right? They're getting my attention and like which one do I pay attention to? Which one is for me to share, to weave into my life, into my work. And so the Peacekeeper, what she taught me was the need to root, right? So if you're familiar with the Voices of Gaia slogan, it's root, receive, and lead. Okay, so you have to root first so that you can fully receive and bring in the information that you're going to bring into your channel, and you're going to anchor it down, to the earth. Receive the information that you need from Gaia, from, the 2D realm, the 1D realm, the magical realms, whatever it is, so that you can find this synthesized, synergistic, harmonized packet of information that wants to come through your channel and be shared through your voice. But you can't do that if you don't root, you can't receive. And so the Peacekeeper is that one of those foundational pieces, right? There's 4 foundational archetypes, and the Peacekeeper is the first one that sets like your grid, allows your channel to have these receptors that can connect to the earth grid, and particularly in your home sanctuary, right? It's really important that you have a particular place in your daily life, in your home, or, where you do your sacred work, where you can anchor in. Like for me, this room that I'm in is that. And I've been in this room a really long time. It's my studio, it's my healing space, it's where I do a lot of my creative work. And so it is my sacred space. But I had to consciously use this space to root in my channel so that I could bring through this body of work, this Voices of Gaia work that wanted to come through my channel to share this new earth leadership initiatory path. And the Peacekeeper is here, is a very angelic frequency, right? It's very pure and it's pure and angelic, and yet it's very much grounded energy. So it helps to stabilize the field. All right. So when you're working with the Peacekeeper, you're working to stabilize the field, stabilize the field. And that's the work of the Peacekeeper. Wherever you decide that your space is, you're stabilizing the field, and it radiates out from your sanctuary, right? And that we'll learn later as you go through the archetypes, and maybe you've already listened to the miracle worker. That's where you learn to move your channel and to anchor into different places that might be transitory, but where you need to be to bring down information for that particular area. It's like an acupuncture needle. But the Peacekeeper is here to hold the stability of the field between heaven and earth and provide the deepest connection to the core of Gaia and all her creatures and all the realms. She embodies the essence of sanctity, justice, sacrifice, fluorescence, ecstasy, wisdom, presence, and majesty. And today we're going to be learning a little bit about her gift of fluorescence. So I'm going to anoint with this beautiful essential oil. And it's a very basic oil. It's yeah, it's a very basic oil. And then what I mean by that, right, is it's simple, it's simplicity, right? The complexity is gone. It helps you to simplify your field so that you can ground, right? So you're not spinning in the chaos. And it's got sage for purification and wisdom, spikenard, just to bring in graciousness into the field. Very grounding, right? Spikenard helps to slow down the mental processes so you're not spinning, right? I used to use this a lot when I worked with mothers, because it doesn't make you sleepy, but it steadies your field. Like the mother can hold so much. And I can even see in my video quality today, this frequency is like it's slowing it down. So if you're watching this and you're seeing like some that is actually that is part of the quality of the Peacekeeper, right? It actually slows things down so much that you can begin to see the spaces in between, right? You're going at Gaia's frequency, at her rhythm. It's so beautiful. And the fluorescence is much about that rhythm. It is actually about nature's rhythms. And it's what allows you to be an eternally flowering spring. And what that means is that, everything's in rhythm, right? There's always going to be some flower, some plant, something growing, something budding and coming into a full bloom, something dying, going back into the earth for recycling, fertilizing the next things. But it's a rhythm, it's a symphony. And there's a time and a place for everyone, and it doesn't happen all at the same time. And so what this gift is for the Peacekeeper is that you know when to be still in the stillness and to not be trying to make yourself blossom, right? You have to settle down. And it's not the shadow of dullness, which is where you just feel like empty, that's kind of like mm, a heavy density, right? You've gone into the shadow of feeling like it's never going to happen for you, right? We're talking about things blooming like you're dead, you know, the seed never um, germinated, or the bud just never, it's not going to ever open. And so it leaves you with this sense of emptiness of like, I'm missing out, you know, on the show. I'm missing out. And it's very heavy and it doesn't feel good. And then the opposite can be where, you know, that's that forcing, the extremist. So maybe you're trying to force things to bloom and then they actually fizzle out, right? they don't, they don't open slowly enough. And and so maybe they just um they kind of get curled up, right? The blossoms, you know, if the weather changes on them and then they just don't quite develop right. And so that extremist is when you don't let what you're bringing down into your channel for the next harvest or for the next, you know, blooming. You don't quite let it germinate properly or bud and open in its own time and rhythm. And so the gift of this fluorescence, the teaching of it, is to just allow yourself to notice when you're in that shadow of feeling empty or feeling like an extremist, and to pause and to pivot and to open up this magnetic field around you, right? Because you brought in all this potential and you've seeded it. And now just to let what needs to come to support its growth, like to just let it come to you. You become this amazingly magnetic being, and all the resources that you need to bring this to fruition will come to you if you are open to receiving, right? That next part, to receiving. And it's not about, so they say modesty, right? It's definitely not about hiding your beautiful bloom, right? It's definitely, and it's not about thinking that you're the only bloom, right? Or you're only going to have one beautiful bloom. It's an awareness of the ebb and flow of life. And there are times when you will be that beautiful rose that everybody sees. And there are times when you will return to the soil and rest, and others will bloom around you, and to celebrate life, right? And that moves you into this field of like fluorescence, because when you're not blooming, you're still receiving from those that are. And you just know because you're waiting, you're calling in magnetically all the resources, all the nourishment, all the people and things that you need, the money, everything that you need so that your next blooming, whether it be one flower or maybe 10,000, I don't know, just depends on what you're channeling through you, what you are here as a signal to be sharing with the world at this time. And so it is a lot about allowing yourself to be, right? It's programmed by the gene key 10, which is being your naturalness. And so it's not about becoming obsessed with yourself, right? But just allowing yourself to be natural, to do what's natural for you rather than giving up or trying to be like someone else because you think they have a system that might make you blossom quicker or more significantly or whatever it is. Like you can listen, you can take what resonates, but just knowing how to just be natural, be your own natural self. And it's in the ring of seeking. So Peacekeeper in this particular case, and the gift is about allowing yourself to refrain from seeking outside of yourself, to grasping and just allowing it to come to you, trusting that when you are in your naturalness, you are in your most magnetic form, and everything that is yours will come to you, that is yours to enjoy in this lifetime will come to you. You will be resourced. So That is what this particular portal is about, is allowing yourself to receive magnetically. You planted the seeds, and now you allow the natural rhythms of what you planted to come into full bloom. And this is a lot about healing anger, like because you're angry, that it's not happening fast enough or not happening the right way, or somebody over there is blooming faster than you are, or even looking at someone, oh, look at them, they're not doing as well as me, so it's like getting rid of this anger. It's a healing of your liver, and just being aware of clearing out old anger from past failures and all of these things. And this will help you to embody this new communication system, right? That brings that magnetic communication system that brings the things you need. And it also brings the people who need what you have to you. So that if you are an entrepreneur or in a business, they start to come to you and they start to want what you have. And, maybe there's a money exchange or whatever it is. You start to receive that way too, as you give your beautiful creations in their time to others. This is Gemini energy, so a lot of communication, but it's also on the cusp with Cancer. And so it's learning to love yourself, to love your unique way of communication, your unique way of blossoming, and to love and hold space for how others operate and their timing. And it's like, like we're all here together enjoying one another's blossoms as you share yours, and then maybe you're in a period of rest and you enjoy the sustenance and the blossoms of others. And in that way, you're living in this field of the eternally flowering spring. And so maybe just take a moment and you can place your hands in the area, your midsection, where your liver is. And that's just being some healing energy in there as I receive any light language to help let go of any anger from the past or the present, any worry or frustration that you're feeling at this time because things have not been going your way, and just letting that be released into a field of love. I'm bringing in a gold and green light into, like an emerald green light, into your midsection. Just healing it, that energy, releasing any old anger that's keeping you from magnetizing to those things you need and those people that need the work that you do. Mashala retira il olo anayati, ashalamania elora anayati, sholo oe alayane mahaya the ola shtaranile. Ujalamanere de o sha. Just letting all of that release down to Mother Earth, where she can transmute it and create nourishment from it to support your blossoming and that of others. We are one family, and when we are all honoring the natural rhythms of our own being, of those around us, and of Mother Earth and the cosmos, is when we begin to experience this ecstatic state of fluorescence and vitality and health. And I leave you with that today. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, much love.